Hey, welcome back to the show, and don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for more episodes of Right on the Money, where we discuss financial topics with advisors and fiduciaries right in your area. So our guest today, though, Tim Trembley of Trembley Financial Services out of beautiful Santa Barbara. Tim, always a pleasure to have you here.
It's great to be here, Dennis.
Now, we've been talking about this phenomena of financial illiteracy in this country. We've identified the problem. We've talked about the fact that so many people are living paycheck to paycheck, shockingly people with really even high incomes. And we've talked about the problem. Let's talk about a couple solutions. So you've got this awesome article in a local paper, and let's talk about a couple of things you have in here. One of them, which is surprising, is starting small.
You start small when you're looking at literacy for your future. Mm-hmm. You can't take the whole thing all at once. So you look at where is it that you can begin. And debt is a big part of that. When you look at the debt that a lot of these folks have when they're first coming out. And so where do you start with your debt? It seems overwhelming. Well, let's look at the credit card that has the least amount of debt. Let's attack that and get that paid off.
Yeah.
That's the easiest. And then you see you've had success. Well, then go to the next one and get yourself in a position where you don't have that debt. And then you'll then have assets that you can put toward investments, toward your future. But you start small. You start where it's not going to be overwhelming and you just say, oh, I'll throw up my hands. I just can't do this. You can. Taking it one step, one small thing at a time.
Now, you've got a couple other pointers in the article that are great. If folks, you need to check out this article. It's fantastic. You talk about building credit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, credit is so important when you're looking at your future, right? Some of these young folks that we have coming in, they want to buy a house someday. Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to buy that house all cash. It's not going to happen. You got to have a mortgage. How do you build your credit to put yourself in a position to get a nice mortgage for that dream house that you want? Well, you have to begin with your credit now, and you have to be reasonable and responsible with the credit that you have, and show the credit agencies that you're prudent with the credit that you have. Some folks think, well, if I just don't have any debt, then I'll be fine. You have to have some, and you have to show that you're prudent with that debt, mm-hmm. and do it in a way that is going to show the folks that loan money to you that you're a good risk.
So besides that, you also talk about establishing an emergency fund. How important is that?
Sometimes that emergency fund is more a psychological thing than anything else. 9 times out of 10, you're never going to need it. But just knowing that emergency fund is there gives you peace of mind. Yeah. And if it's 3 months worth of income that you have set aside in an account that's earning interest, that's going to put you at peace when you're moving forward in this uncertain economy that we're in.
Absolutely.
And you never know what the future holds. You have a great job until you don't. Enron was a great company until it wasn't.
Sure.
I mean, you go down the list. Kodak was a great blue chip company in the Dow Jones Industrial. They're gone. Mm-hmm. So things change. Your job is going to change. Yeah. And be in a position when those changes do take place that you'll be able to carry on.
Now, one of the last things in the article that I thought was great, almost out of left field, is the thought of don't forget to have fun. I did not expect to see that in that article. Why'd you put that in there?
Well, you know what? I think that's just as important as anything else that you're doing. But you have to plan for it. Mm-hmm. You don't go out and put tickets on a big concert that's you don't really have the funds for because mm-hmm. you really want to see it. No. You look at that concert down the road and you say, to do that, I'm going to have to make sure that I have these things paid off. I'm going to make sure that I have an excess of the funds that I need to have for my emergency fund, mm-hmm. and then I can buy that. So put it in your budget to have fun. And I've had clients that were beginning and just going through a very difficult time, and we look at their fun that they've had. Well, it's been too expensive. Yeah. The fun that they've had have been trips that cost too much money, staying at hotels that cost too much. How about staying home and going on a picnic down at the beach? How about instead of going to dinner and a movie, you go home and watch it on TV and get a pizza? Yep. There are things that you can do to change to put yourself in a better position without really changing your lifestyle that much.
I know you put articles out there all the time, and I know you've got some. You've got one. We talked off camera. You said you got one queued up on debt, which is super important.
Yes.
We've talked so far about that financial illiteracy and really some wise words for those kind of on the beginning of their financial journey. But you work with tons and tons of people that are up there at retirement, so some of those concerns are not the same. Any words of wisdom for the folks that are watching that are getting close to retirement or have just retired, that people you're helping, things you see? That...
You know, it's so important when that retirement time comes that you have a plan in place. So many folks that retire, suddenly they go home and they don't have the job and it's jarring. It's, what do I do now? Have things in place that you want to do once you retire. And that's going to give you the peace of mind that is going to give you a retirement that you'll enjoy. The worst thing you can do is go home and eat bonbons and watch soap operas. You don't do that. You know that, and so often you see folks that have retired and they have a downturn in their health, and health issues and things. Those that are in the best place are doing things that challenge them, that invigorate them, that are meaningful. And I think that's really the most important thing as you come into retirement. It's not the money. It's what kind of health do you have?
Sure.
And how do you feel about your life moving forward, and what are you giving to others?
You've got the 3 offices in California, and then you're expanding outside of the...
We have one in Nashville with my son in Nashville, Tennessee, and then we supervise offices in San Jose, Sacramento, and Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, so we're starting a global reach here before too long. If you want to reach out to Tim, phone number, we've got the website, you can shoot Tim an email. One last question for you. Out of the folks that come in to see you to get advice to start, they need help on retirement, bringing things together, how often do you see someone come in that actually have a plan before they see you?
Rarely.
Rare?
Rarely. I think it's a rare thing for most Americans. I think most Americans know that they're putting money into their 401k, into their retirement plan, but they haven't really sat down and taken a look at what that retirement means to them. You know, should you wait another couple of years before you retire because you really haven't done the work that you need to? Or maybe you can retire now and be in a better position the way that your retirement plan is set up. So it's important to look at that and not look at it when you're going to retire, well before you retire. So you can begin thinking about things that are going to be important to you in that retirement. That probably is the most important thing that we bring to the table. You can have all the money in the world and it's all set there, but if you don't know what you're going to do with that at that time, that can bring some great consternation. So look at that well in advance. And the time to set up a retirement account, people ask that all the time. It's now. If you're just coming out of college and you have a job, you need to set up your retirement plan now. It's like, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? Now. And there are a lot of good reasons for that.
Tim, that is a perfect spot for us to stop. Thank you so much for being on. We're gonna have to have you back like multiple times. We'd love to have you.
I look forward to it, Dennis. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so don't forget, you can watch full Right on the Money Show episodes on our official YouTube channel or at rightonthemoneyshow.com. That's the spot where you can get up-to-date financial news and insights from the top insurance and financial professionals in your area. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.